Good morning. I am Crystal Jones, principal of Beecher Elementary School located in Southwest Atlanta in the Atlanta Public School System. I was born and raised in Southwest Atlanta, and after college, I moved back home to Southwest Atlanta and took a job teaching kindergarten. 21 years later, I'm still serving in Southwest Atlanta today as a school principal. I live, I work, I play in my community because I love it. And I want to be a part of the process that provides the children of my community with the opportunities and experiences that brought me here today. To me, in the 80s and 90s, Atlanta was a utopia, with teachers and families having trusting relationships that worked for students and for families. Most of my friends growing up would say their teachers and their school were instrumental in their development. School staff love children, families, and all that comes with them. In my first year as a principal, Atlanta Public Schools suffered a very public scandal that led to a chasm that unveiled deep inequities and left the community at large to distrust the system. In my last decade with Atlanta Public Schools, many schools in the district experienced one or more effects of the scandal. Multiple leadership turnovers, low achievement, school closures, mergers, and charter partnerships. This caused the communities and families across the district to feel unheard, unempowered, and simply put, they lost trust. In my small corner of the city, we decided to be pioneers with family engagement. We were one of 10 schools in the state to start implementing academic parent-teacher teams, and I'll call it APTT for short. I came up in leadership in a time where the philosophy was you get results from students in spite of parents. Once I became versed in the methodologies of APTT with my staff, we began to see the importance of partnering with parents for students' academic achievement. So APT looks like you implement 3 class meetings a year with just the teacher and the parents in that class. And they set goals for their children. They work together as a team to help children accomplish those goals. And it works because there's also a place where you have to improve your outreach efforts. So by year 4 in APTT, we began riding the buses home with the children to invite more parents in to APTT. On my first bus trip out, I was so excited. I jumped off. I saw grandma, and gave her an invitation. I was like, please come back. And she looked at me. She didn't want any parts of my invitation. She said, I'm not coming out of the house. His daddy works, and we're not coming up to that school. But the next day, when I was standing at the door welcoming everyone in, one of the first faces I saw was that grandma. And I told her how excited I was, and she said, if you came to my house on a bus, and mind you, it's August in Atlanta, and buses do not have air conditioning, I just need y'all to know that. So my next champion is transportation for children with air conditioning. If you came to my house on a bus, I assume it's important. Since implementing APTT, Beecher has gone from 30% of our parents participating in engagement activities to around 65 to 70% on average. As we embark as a district on improving community and family engagement across the district and becoming a district where the community trusts the system and all families engage, we want to engage families at the district level with fireside chats around the city, community talks that will lead to positive voices being heard and change perspectives one parent at a time. We are slowly moving towards becoming that utopia for families and schools again. No matter what side of town, which socioeconomic level, many schools hold tight to the work of academics and engage families with feel-good initiatives like donuts and grown-ups, Thanksgiving lunches, which I'm rushing home to be a part of at the end of this week, bake sales, and fall festivals. During my principal mentor work, I had the opportunity to share some information about the research-based academic-focused family engagement strategies like student conferencing, APTT, parent-teacher home visits, removing barriers, strategies like that. And a colleague of mine from an affluent school was amazed to hear how student-led conferencing was working in my building and stated that if he could do something like that, it would give his parents a new and more beneficial focus instead of them harassing him about bike racks. With effective implementation of the family engagement team's strategic plan, all schools and families will understand the 5 roles that families play in engagement and will be engaged with any of the research-based models to engage families in academic programs all across the district. So let's go back and talk about more school leaders like me who were brought up in a belief that you get results in spite of children, their families, and their lives. In Atlanta, we have families in disenfranchised situations, often unempowered, not informed, not showing up, not checking in, or being seen and heard only to protest. We often hear from teachers biased statements like, oh, they don't care. The problem is they're not held accountable. Or it's not my job to teach families, I teach children. Or my least favorite, those people. I have seen research that states 97% of families want to know what is happening with their child and actually be engaged. That says to me that even with the work that we do in our small corner of the city, we're still missing 30% of our parents, and there is still work to do. In my work mentoring principals across the district, I led a principal learning session on engaging families and communities. I asked each school leader to write a 6-word story about their family, the age they were, when they were the age of the children they serve. As they shared, I began to ask them, do we honor and value the stories of our families? And then I had them turn and talk. Their table conversations immediately turned to how much their staff and how much they love children. It's true. Like Mike just told you, in Atlanta, we give everybody a hug. We love children. I began to wonder, do we even know what love of families looks like? My 6-word story, when I was 10 years old, first we were 4, now 3. My 5th grade teacher not only loved me, she still volunteers in my school today. She's been retired 30 years and still raising my children. She still loves me. But she loved my family, and she had to carefully bring us through a successful school year after the illness and death of my father. She had to be tuned into all that was happening. She had to love my mother and my little sister too in order for my mother to trust her to care for me and do that work and help me in 5th grade and make it to middle school. It was hard. Do all school staff know that we have to love all children, their stories, and their families if they are truly going to engage and trust us? If Team Atlanta meets our goal for the district, outreach efforts that encourage direct and personal contact with parents will be the norm in all schools and communities. All families will feel welcome and wanted and are consistently invited in, and most importantly, all school staff will love all children, their stories, and their families. We will identify our biases and address them so the pronouns they and these are replaced with our and us. We will work to remove barriers for families so they can have access to initiatives that allow them to partner with schools and engage in their child's growth and achievement. What would happen if we sought out to make impact on students, families, and communities? What if we accepted 0 excuses from ourselves about engaging families, including them in academic programs of schools, and loving not just all children, but their stories and the families that come with them as well. Thank you.